Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. I'm your host, Bill Bailey. Don't you love that opening tune? When Johnny comes marching home again. When Johnny comes marching home again, hooray, hooray. We'll give him a hearty welcome then, hooray, hooray. And on it goes. Great tune, very patriotic. So, folks, the debt ceiling is about to hit today. Don't panic. It's going to be the test of this new Congress to find out if they really are who they say they are, or if they are going to sell us out again and not protect America and look out for themselves instead of we the people. So we're going to learn really quick, but don't panic. If they don't cave on the debt ceiling, the country's not going to end. I mean, checks are going to go out. Everything's going to be fine. And I'll tell you, it would really be almost June of this year before the government would run out of ways to fund stuff. So nothing to panic, all right? But it is a test of wits, right? We need to know if McCarthy is going to have our back and hold tight. I actually think he's going to, or will he cave? If you look at the screen, folks, you'll see the U.S. national debt, and this is kind of a smoke and mirrors figure, to be honest. It's $31,499 billion, let's say. But they don't show you the unfunded liabilities that America owes, like future Social Security payments and that type of stuff. That's well over $100 trillion. No country in the history of humanity has had the debt America has. I'm not so sure we don't have more debt than all the previous empires combined. I think we actually do. And it's unsustainable. And if you look at the bottom of that imagery there of the debt, that little clip of the debt clock, you will see U.S. federal deficit to GDP ratio. In the bottom left-hand corner, it says in 1960, it was 53.34%. Okay, not bad. Right in the 1980s, under the Reagan Revolution, country very healthy. It was only 34.49%. In 2000, it was about 60%. Now look where it is, folks. U.S. federal deficit to GDP ratio, 121.5%. This whole thing's going to collapse, and I'm not so sure we can stop it at this point, but we certainly have to try. And we need our elected representatives to have some sagacity, right? To be discerning, to be sound in thought, to have some freaking wisdom. Think, people, think. We need to watch McCarthy and hold tight. I do believe he's going to prove to be the best speaker we've had in decades. And listen, I wanted rid of him just a few days ago or weeks ago, right? I wanted someone new. I thought, he's been there long enough, but I'm not so sure he's not the man for the job. But we're going to find out. If he sells us out, we'll call him out. So let's get to this article I have pulled up. It's over at Reuters, by the way. U.S. government touches debt limit. The U.S. government was due to hit its $31.4 trillion borrowing limit on Thursday. That would be today. Amid a standoff between the Republican-controlled House of Representatives and President Joe Biden's demented Democrats that could lead to a fiscal crisis in a few months. Republicans with a newly won House majority aim to use the congressionally mandated federal debt ceiling to exact spending cuts from Biden and the Democrat-led Senate. Now listen to this, folks. Thursday's deadline will have little immediate effect because Treasury officials are prepared to begin employing emergency cash management measures to stave off default. More serious risk will emerge closer to June when the government approaches the so-called X date, beyond which the Treasury would run out of emergency maneuvers. It is something that should be done without conditions. We should not be negotiating around it. It is the basic duty of Congress to get that done. White House Press Secretary, Communist Extraordinaire Karine Jean Pierre told reporters. Republicans are instead pursuing a debt prioritization plan that would seek to avert default by urging the Treasury to prioritize debt payments and possibly other priorities such as Social Security and Medicare. Should the limit be breached during negotiations, Republicans hope to complete the legislation by the end of March. Folks, none of your Social Security or Medicare is in the slightest bit of jeopardy. Anybody that says that is just fear-mongering. You have nothing to worry about. So the prospect for brinkmanship has raised concerns in Washington and on Wall Street about a bruising fight over the debt ceiling this year that could be at least as disruptive as the protracted battle of 2011, which prompted a downgrade of the U.S. credit rating and years of forced domestic and military spending cuts. On that note, a downgrade of the U.S. credit rating. I think America has a terrible credit rating. Look at our debt management and the way we spend money and borrow money. I can't imagine that we should, in any construct, have some sort of stellar credit rating. I mean, we're bad managers of money. So anyways, we're not going to default on the debt. We have the ability to manage servicings and paying out interest, but we similarly should not blindly increase the debt ceiling. Representative conservative warrior Chip Roy told Reuters. Roy dismissed concerns about unsettling markets and risking a recession. That's what they say every time. It's like clockwork. Roy said in an interview, we're already barreling toward a recession. The question is what it's going to look like unless the combination of monetary policy and fiscal policy saves us from our stupidity of having spent so much money. Congress adopted a comprehensive debt ceiling, the statutory maximum of debt the government can issue back in 1939, intending to limit its growth. That didn't work real well, guys. The measure has not had that effect, as in practice, Congress has treated the annual budget process, deciding how much money to spend, separately from the debt ceiling, in essence agreeing to cover the cost of previously approved spending. They're just kicking the can, folks. They've been doing it for years. Negotiation on debt prioritization and spending are not expected to get into full swing until lawmakers return to Washington next week. The Republican plan calls for balancing the federal budget in 10 years by capping discretionary spending at 2022 levels and using House oversight to identify federal programs that can eliminate or scale back in spending bills that are expected to emerge from the House Appropriations Committee later this year. In the meantime, House Republicans are vowing to reject sweeping government funding bills from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, akin to the $1.66 trillion bipartisan, really criminal omnibus package that Congress passed in December. White House officials also noted that Republicans in Congress backed multiple increases in the debt ceiling when Republican Donald Trump was president. Well, that's true, folks. The Republicans and the Democrats are all guilty of this. I will tell you that Trump did run up the national debt by, I'll have to look, a few $1 trillion, but our military was dilapidated. I mean, it was in terrible shape, and I think $3 trillion went to our military. So, some of it was necessary. I mean, a lot of it was probably just typical BS. So Congress and the White House likely have until early June to find agreement on government funding before Washington must confront the specter of the first ever default, according to the Treasurer Secretary Janet Yellen, who looks like a reptilian person. We are optimistic that Democrats will come to the table and negotiate in good faith, said Republican Representative Ben Cline, who leads a conservative task force on the budget and spending. There's a lot of room to negotiate when it comes to steps that can be taken to address the fiscal crisis we find ourselves in. So that's that. Get rid of that. So let's see what happens. But again, as far as feeling some financial effects from not raising the debt ceiling, nothing's going to happen. They need to hold tight. This country cannot survive much longer, folks. We are at the cusp of losing this country, fiscally, morally, and constitutionally. We're in the worst crisis, in my opinion, this country's ever been in. We're at the brink of World War III. We're at the brink of a second Civil War. We're, really, rightfully, at the brink of the Second American Revolution, which if our founding fathers were here would be giving us all a kick in the ass for not fixing these issues. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Remember, the sponsor of this channel, My Patriot Supply, link is always down in the description of the video. The affiliate link for this channel to shop at My Patriot Supply, and the promo code to My Pillow, which is SOL1773, to save up to 66% at mypillow.com. So that's it, folks. I will see you. I'm going to do a video on the war. I do have some things, some new news of what's going on with Ukraine, and they're, sucking us deeper and deeper into World War III. World War III has started. They're just turning on the faucet more and more of war. And it's going to get bad. Unless there's some miracle, keep praying to God for peace and for him to end this war. But I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it. And there are no peacemakers. There are no people working relentlessly in our government or the, Europe to make a peace deal. They all seem to be pushing it's, World War III or it's nothing. So that's it. So I'll follow up on this in the next video. So keep the faith, Patriots. Remember, we're always marching forward. We never surrender. We never retreat. God bless everybody.